Hey everybody, it's Joe from the Jeep shop. Happy Friday to you. Coming to you live from the car, actually. Usually I'm in front of my Jeep or in the garage, giving you some information and helpful tips on how to work on these Jeeps. Today's episode is covering something near and dear to my heart. Well, actually, heartbreaking to be honest with you. Recently, you guys know that I had a 2000 WJ Grand Cherokee, and I had to let it go. It was a really tough decision to make, but I think it was the best one. It really broke my heart. You know, I had put my heart and soul into this thing, lots of hours of wrenching and working on it and fixing things up. You know, it really turned out to be a great looking Jeep. The WJs are awesome. I really enjoyed it. I picked it up in 2018 on a cold day. I trailered it back. It was really in rough shape. Everything was rusted solid like Jeeps typically are. The drive shafts, the CV drive shafts in the front were shot, so it wasn't drivable. Rockers were completely rusted. I mean, everything was just screwed up. The seat bracket was broken. The interior was like an ashtray. It was really, really in rough shape. But I decided, like, hey, look, I picked it up at a local place in Lower Delaware for about $800 and trailered it back and really went to town. Upper and lower control arms, radiator, sway bar links, shocks, front pads, rear pads. The brakes were completely redone. Some of the brake lines were replaced. Cylinder head from Clearwater cylinder head, polished up you guys saw the picture. You know what I did. But I threw a lot of time, effort, and some money into it too. Ball joints, I mean, you name the wheel bearings, the list goes on. So, you know, I had looked over the vehicle when I picked it up, and you know, I saw the rocker panel rust and everything, but the under frame and unibody didn't look too bad. It looked solid. Well, if you follow my Instagram account and you saw the pictures, I had a huge hole in the driver rear unibody frame right behind the coil spring, the upper coil spring bucket. I had it all lined up to get repaired, get a shop to go ahead and run some steel through it, strengthen the frame, and I was willing to invest that money into it. And I guess the other point of this video is to talk about, you know, what's the break-even point between money that you're going to throw into a Jeep and, you know, when is it time to let it go, right? Like, you know, how much money have you put in? How much more money do you need to put in? And is it really going to be a repair that you're going to get the return on investment for the long haul? So that's kind of really one of the points of this video. Is one is my heart's broken about my Jeep, and two is where's that break-even point. I do money things for my job, so I do a lot of financial analysis, looking at numbers, spreadsheets, all that stuff. So you know, the numbers are an interest of me as well. I guess it was last Sunday I was under the Jeep, and I happened to notice the rear lower control arm was the bracket was really rusty, and I had known that. So I'd kind of investigated a little bit further north of where the bracket connects in the unibody frame, and lo and behold, that was now rusty. I mean, I pushed it with my hand, and it was kind of buckling. I went into the garage, and I got a pick, and I poked right through it, and I got maybe a 3 inch section long and like 2 or 3 inches high. So knowing how Jeeps rust from the inside out, I knew that if the outside was that rusty, I knew the inside was pretty much toast. And one of the things I told myself when I started investigating this Jeep and the unibody and the rocker panel rust is that if there was ever any rust near the points where the suspension connects to the unibody, I knew I was out. So that day had come last Saturday. And I had to decide whether or not to junk it, get another WJ, sell it, crush it, strip the parts off, put them in my garage, and get a salvage yard to pick up my frame, pick up the hull. I don't know. So what I thought would be good was maybe somebody else who's looking for a project car can do something with it. Maybe a machinist or a welder or somebody that has really good welding skills. So that's what I did. I put it on Facebook Marketplace, and within 3 or 4 hours, I had a hit. And I was, of course, very blatantly clear and descriptive with where the rust was, including pictures, including facts that this vehicle will not pass Pennsylvania State inspection. There was no hiding the facts that there was a large gaping hole in the frame. Hey, I have children. There is no way I'm going to give this to another person that potentially could have children. I didn't want my kids driving it because I didn't feel safe without it being repaired. And that was the break-even point for me. I wasn't willing to put any more money into it to get it to where I thought I needed it to be. So I told the guy, I said, look, it has not frame rust, it has frame rot. There's a big difference between rot and rust. So I showed him the holes. He was still very interested. He appreciated the honesty. Drove it over. He said he wanted to buy it. I said I have my title. He says he has cash. Perfect union. Title, cash. Bam. That's how that gets done. I met him, and the first thing I did was I said, come down here and put your hand on the rust. Put your hand through the hole. Don't just look under it real quick and, oh, okay, rust. Put your hands through it. He did, and he said, what do you think causes it? This guy really wasn't too much of a Jeeper, but he's a guy, he knows it's a car and it shouldn't look like that. But he had said up and down that he has a friend that knows how to weld. It was somebody that worked in a local garage. And I said, okay. I said, well, I would definitely advise that you get this done relatively quickly because having a control arm attached to a rusty, rotted unibody is definitely not safe. He appreciated my honesty. I had him sign a piece of paper. I signed a piece of paper saying, as is, no warranties implied, buyer's aware of the rust, and that's that. And with that, we exchanged paper for paper, and my WJ rolled off with another owner. And it was really weird. I know all you guys, fellow guys and gals, fellow Jeep lovers, when you get rid of a Jeep, this will be my third Jeep that I've gotten rid of, and this one particularly hit me hard. I had a 91 YJ where I had done a motor swap. I've done everything to that vehicle except replace the frame and replace the tub. Everything else was swapped out, junkyard, Ford 8.8, swapped motors out of a 93 XJ. I've done everything. And that broke my heart a little bit, but I was at a different time in my life. Children were babies, and it was time to let it go and let somebody else have fun with it. But this one hit me hard. I had lots of visions of using this vehicle for years, and to let it go was difficult. And oh, by the way, I'm coming to you live from my 2004 Ford Taurus with 322,387 miles on it. Lots of miles in vehicles never bothers me. So, not to drone on anymore, this is already an 8-minute video. You guys know how hard it is to put your heart and soul into a Jeep, and it let me down. I really feel like that Jeep did let me down. I didn't get into it not being aware of the rust or what it took to fix it. I just feel like I put so much effort into getting this thing squared away and right. And something to consider when you see rust of that nature. Just be prepared to one day maybe have to let that go, and maybe you just make that break-even point between, how much rust is on the frame, or what's the damage of the vehicle, what kind of effort and money, really money, is it going to take to get this where you want to go, and are you willing to do it? And are there other options? And in my next video, we're going to talk about the other option. Life is really funny. One Jeep let me down one day, and within an hour or two, I had a lead on a 1999 Jeep Cherokee XJ. And let me tell you what a great vehicle. It's my second Cherokee that I've owned, and I am just in love with it. Not sure about the direction I'm going to take this one on. You guys know that they're great vehicles. There are so many different videos on 50 things why I love my Cherokee, and I've watched them all. And I couldn't agree more. To go from 1984 to 2001 with the same body style with just a couple minor changes, that's why it has such a following. There's millions of Cherokees out there. People love them. They don't want to get rid of them. I happened to luck out the same day I lost one Jeep, I gained another Jeep, and I really feel good about this. I felt bad about my WJ letting me down and me letting it down, but I feel like this XJ came into my life at a perfect time, and we're kind of going through some of the process to clean the interior, and the headliner is ripped, so we're going to be taking care of that this weekend. But the moral of the story is Jeeps can bring you such high positive feelings, and man, they can bring you to the low of lows. So, don't forget, Jeeps are the best. Everybody loves a Jeep. They bring you lots of frustration, but they're also really enjoyable. So stay tuned. We're going to kind of change the mode of our Jeep shop, transferring from lots of information about WJs to our brand new addition to the fleet, the 1999 XJ. So stay tuned. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and make sure to put that alert on there so you can get more information about all the great things that are going on in my Jeep shop. So take care. You have a great day.